Okay, I'll start again. Fine. Are able to see the screen? Are able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now we will go to UPS. So UPS has been covered. UPS numericals, I told you the most important formula. You can go through it. It's very standard. So you can go to page number 29. Fine. Everybody is on page number 29.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you seeing electronic ballast here?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yeah. So before I go to the block diagram, see, these are all called as power electronics applications. And the aim is only to understand that this particular application may be electronic ballast or stepper motor or BLDC motor or a three-phase induction motor. Students can unmute themselves. Okay. Fine. Are you able to see this?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So we are not here to understand how an electronic ballast works. We are not here to understand how a DC motor works or a induction motor works or a stepper motor works or a BLDC motor works. We are interested in that what are the input requirements of these motors or applications and how power electronics is able to fulfill that requirement. Okay, so our discussion will be very, very to the point. Is it clear? So now, all of you, when you actually saw light, when you were small, whether it was 4 years, 5 years, most of you have seen, this tube light in your home. And as and when the day went by, the tube light remained the same, but something changed in that. And then again, after some years, you saw that we started using, the CFL, that is compact fluorescent lamp. And then now, as the years went by, CFLs are no more, LEDs are used. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if we see that before 35, 40 years, in homes at night, they used to use this bulb. उसको दुकान में आएंगे तो क्या बोलते थे हम? दुकान वाले को बोलेंगे सर हमको बल्ब का गोला दे दो, तो क्या बोलता था वो? कितने वैट का दूं? 25 वैट का दूं, 40 वैट का दूं, 60 वैट का दूं? तो दैट बल्ब का गोला इज एक्चुअली टेक्निकली कॉल्ड एज अ फिलामेंट बल्ब और एन इनकैंडेसेंट लैम्प. Okay, so for many years people were illuminating their homes using incandescent lamp.
हेलो
Hello.
सर आपका आवाज कट गया था सर.
Okay,
सर
ठीक
आप अगर आपका वीडियो स्टॉप कर दे तो बैंडविड्थ थोड़ा सा बढ़ जाएगा.
है. मेरा वीडियो स्टॉप वीडियो कैसे करता है?
सर
अच्छा,
लोअर लेफ्ट में एक ऑप्शन है.
हाँ, यहाँ पे मेरे खुद को वीडियो ऑफ कर दूं क्या मैं?
यस सर.
नहीं लेकिन मेरा वीडियो ऑफ करूंगा तो कैसे होने वाला है?
सर आपका स्क्रीन दिखेगा और आप बोल भी पाओगे, बस
ओके।
वीडियो नहीं दिखेगा आपको।
लेकिन मुझे ऑप्शन नहीं आ रहा वो।
सर अभी हुआ था, लेफ्ट साइड में नीचे स्टार्ट वीडियो
हाँ
का
हाँ
एक
हाँ।
ऑप्शन होगा।
ओके 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 ओके। ऊपर है, अभी म्यूट है, स्टॉप वीडियो लिखा हुआ है लेकिन।
हाँ सर।
सर स्टॉप वीडियो।
ओके, अब
हाँ
ठीक है।
हो गया सर। यस सर।
ओके फाइन 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 फाइन। ओके ठीक है, अभी आपको मेरी आवाज सुनाई दे रही है ना?
यस सर।
लेकिन अभी मेरे को
यस सर।
स्क्रीन शेयरिंग बंद हो जाएगा ना कि नहीं?
नहीं
नहीं सर,
सर, दिख
स्क्रीन
रहा है
शेयर
आपके।
चालू है।
चालू है ना? ओके ठीक
आपका
है, अब
सिर्फ
मैं रिपीट
वेबकैम
करता
बंद
हूँ।
है।
अभी आ रहा है आवाज आपको अच्छी तरह?
यस
यस सर।
ओके फाइन ठीक है, मैं वापस शुरू करता हूँ। आपको कहाँ से समझ में सुनाई नहीं दिया था? मोटर वोटर का समझ में आ गया? हेलो हेलो,
यस सर।
are you able to hear my audio at least now?
यस सर।
Okay fine, so the purpose of the forthcoming discussion is to understand that a particular load, what are its requirements and how power electronics is going to help us do that. Is it clear?
यस सर।
Fine. Yeah. So the thing is that the first topic is called as electronic ballast. Okay. So initially when electricity came to India in villages and in cities, wherever, so at night time people used to illuminate their homes using the bulb. Remember that bulb which we are using as a lamp in our power electronics lab?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So those bulbs are actually technically called as a filament lamp or incandescent lamp. And the concept is that a low resistance wire, when it carries a certain amount of current, then heat is generated, and then it gives out light. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the problem is that they used to serve the purpose of bringing people out of darkness, but the problem is that they used to consume a lot of energy. Is it clear? Now, this energy in what sense? Any light source, if you see in the field of optics, are able to listen to me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So any in the field of optics, when we speak about light sources, then we speak about something called as lumens per watt. So lumens per watt. So lumens is a unit of illumination, and watt is a unit of power. Is it clear? So any light source,
यस
whether it is a filament bulb or a CFL or an LED or a laser source, it is called as lumens per watt. Is it clear?
सर।
Yeah. So when we say that a CFL is more power efficient than normal fluorescent tube, and if fluorescent tube is more power efficient than an incandescent lamp, it means what? The number of lumens per watt is increasing. A classic example is in the market, if you go to purchase a tube light, it will tell you that for the drawing room what is needed is 40 watts. Is it clear? 40 watts is there. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and the lumens rating of that particular tube light is 70 lumens per watt. That means what? That per 1 watt of power consumed, it will give you 70 lumens of light. So for a 40 watt tube light, the lumens which are obtained is 2800 lumens. Is it clear?
यस सर।
Yeah, so that particular light, it consumes 40 watts of power and generates 2800 lumens, right? Now, if we go to the market and the shopkeeper will tell me that, sir, you take a CFL because the CFL is having a rating of 100 lumens per watt. Is it clear?
यस सर।
Yeah. So now tell me, can you tell me that कितने watt का CFL हमको यूज करना पड़ेगा ताकि वो ट्यूबलाइट के जितना ही लाइट देगा? बताओ।
28।
Around 28.
28, बिकॉज हमारा रिक्वायरमेंट है 2800 लूमेंस, और अगर मैं CFL यूज करूंगा कि जिसका रेटिंग है 100 लूमेंस पर वैट, तो मेरे को 28 वैट के CFL से मेरा काम हो जाएगा। इज इट क्लियर? हेलो हेलो।
करते हैं करे।
हाँ, अभी आया।
यस
Yes,
सर।
sir.
हाँ, तो अभी if I purchase another light source LED which is having rating of 200 lumens per watt, so with only 14 watts LED lamp my requirement is fulfilled. So are you seeing now the requirement of 2800 lumens is been fulfilled by a 40 watts fluorescent tube, huh? By a 28 watts CFL or a 14 watts LED. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now understand one thing, that incandescent lamps were ruled out of market because they were not energy efficient, and they found out that if you use a fluorescent lamp or a fluorescent tube, the long one, then it is found to be 3 to 4 times more energy efficient. That is why people did stopped using this filament bulb. Is it clear?
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and if we see in the yesteryears when the fluorescent tube came into the market, it used to come with a rectangular kind of a attachment, and there was something called as a choke. Hmm? So that particular
Yeah.
rectangular box, it is called as inductive choke or a inductive ballast. Is it clear? So that ballast was acting as a filter, and there was one choke. Okay, so if you rotate the choke, then sometimes the lamp used to flicker and then used to stabilize. Is it clear? Fine.
Yes sir.
So
Yes, sir.
what they found out is that fluorescent tube is more energy efficient than incandescent lamp, but they found out that the inductive choke is actually also reducing the efficiency of operation. So they found out that if the same fluorescent tube, which actually needs an AC voltage, if instead of 230 volt AC, if we can operate it at a higher frequency in kilohertz, then the efficiency can be boosted by at least 20 to 30%. Are you understanding the principle now?
Yes
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So the principle is that already a choke or an inductive ballast was doing the job of driving the fluorescent tube from a 230 volts mains. But to make it more efficient, what they taught is that instead of driving the lamp at 230 volt and 50 hertz supply, we can drive it in the range of 25 to 40 kilohertz. Then it will become more energy efficient. Okay. So you understood the point, that now the aim is to drive the fluorescent tube at kilohertz frequency instead of 50 hertz. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes
see the block diagram here. It's very simple. Okay. तो here you are having our lamp at the end. आपने देखा लैम्प देखा, मैंने आपने येलो कलर से मैंने उसको हाईलाइट किया है.
हाँ sir.
Yeah, right. So see the block diagram now, that 230 volt means it is given to a power factor correction unit, because the load is inductive in nature, it leads to poor power factor at the source side. There is power factor correction. Then there is an EMI filter. Okay. Why? Because you see here now, the lamp has to be driven from an AC source. Instead of 50 hertz, I want to drive it at kilohertz. So there is an inverter. Is it clear? So inverter's output is AC. So inverter is operated at about 25 to 40 kilohertz, and inverter's input is DC. See the point D. Are you seeing the point D?
Yes sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So lamp needs a high frequency AC. This high frequency AC is coming from an inverter. Inverter needs a DC input. This DC input is derived from uncontrolled rectifier plus filter. And because this inverter is operating at high frequency, many a times there is a electromagnetic interference from the load side to the source side, because power can flow both the sides. It can flow from source to load and also from load to source. The EMI filter will prevent this interference to the source side. Is it clear? Otherwise the block diagram is very simple. Okay, 230 volt 50 hertz supply, power factor correction, EMI filter to prevent interference from load to source side, and AC to DC, uncontrolled rectifier and filter. Pure DC goes into the inverter, and then inverter's output in 25 to 40 kilohertz drives the lamp. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in the notes, the functions of block A, B, C, and D are given. Okay. And you can read the advantages and disadvantages. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the second application is LED lamp with driver circuit. Okay. See, this circuit appears to be a little complicated, but don't worry. You understand what is our focal point. Our focal point is this LED. Are you seeing the LED? Extreme right of the circuit diagram?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So our aim is that we want to drive this LED safely. Okay. Also understand one thing, that if we read the data sheet of an LED, its operating current is 10 milliamperes only. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have to make sure that if LED has to remain safe during operation, we have to make sure that the current flowing in this particular LED branch does not exceed 10 milliampere. Okay. And everything which is before this LED is simply aimed at achieving this means. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now what we do is that our load is towards the extreme right and our source is to the extreme left. You are seeing 230 volt 50 hertz supply.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now understand one thing, that our load LED needs a DC voltage for operation. Is it okay? And the current has to be 10 milliamperes. See now how the things are controlled. 230 volt 50 hertz, it is given to an R parallel C. Is it clear? So this particular capacitor, you see here capacitor, this capacitor's reactance at 50 hertz is large enough to limit the source current. Is it clear?
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
Yeah, so 2.2 microfarads and 400 volt. Why 400 volt? Because we know that the VM for 230 volt is 326 volts. You remember? 230 into root 2.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is why we have to use a high voltage rating capacitor here. So the voltage rating is 400 because the VM is plus and minus 326. 2.2 microfarads value is chosen such that 1 upon 2 pi FC value is so large that it will limit the value of source current. Okay. 390 kilo ohms resistor is connected in shunt. You know why? For the discharge path. Is it clear?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because the input side, the voltage is high. The capacitor will get charged to high voltage. And maximally, it will become equal to 326 at pi by 2 radians. To discharge this capacitor, when there is no mains, 390 kilo ohms is required. Okay. So when the value of R1 is very large, the time constant is large, and there will be no sparking. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the current limited source is now given to a bridge rectifier. You see here D1, D2, D3, D4.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is an uncontrolled rectifier. An uncontrolled rectifier output is filtered. So 47 microfarad is a filter capacitor, which will convert our pulsating DC into pure DC. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, please understand one thing, that our LED's requirement is that it should get not more than 10 milliamperes of current. At the same time, it is good that if we get a constant voltage across it. So this is done by using a Zener regulator. You see here, there is a Zener, 4.7 volt Zener is there.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this 4.7 volt Zener will ensure that the voltage across the LED is equal to constant 4.7, and this 22 kilo ohm resistor R3, are you seeing 22 kilo ohms 5 watt resistor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it will make sure, it will ensure two things. That is, first thing is that the current flowing through LED does not exceed 10 milliamperes, and the current flowing through the Zener does not exceed 5 milliamperes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. The current flowing through LED should be 5 milliamperes. The data sheet says that, and the Zener current should be 10 milliamperes. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah. So only if the current flowing through Zener is 10 milliamperes, it will ensure that the Zener operates in breakdown region. At the same time, the current square into the resistance does not exceed the PD max rating. If you remember Zener voltage regulator, two requirements should be fulfilled. That the current flowing through Zener IZ should be greater than IZ min and less than IZ max. You remember that design in first year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if the current is above IZ max, the Zener will get damaged. And if it is below IZ min, it will not enter into the breakdown region. So 22 kilo ohms 5 watt resistor R3 will ensure that the zener operates in breakdown. At the same time, the current flowing through LED does not exceed 5 milliamperes, the rated current. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So to revise, the 230 volt AC current is limited using 2.2 microfarad capacitor. 390 kilo ohms is meant for providing a discharge path to the capacitor. Then this current limited AC is given to uncontrolled rectifier. Then C2 will filter out the ripples, and the requirement of LED is 5 milliampere, and that of zener is 10 milliamperes. Both these current requirements are fulfilled by 22 kilo ohms resistor. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So all these things which
C2
are
and
hello.
C2 and C3 are for filters, right? I
Pardon?
guess filters. C2 and C3 capacitors, sir. 47 micro.
Huh. Hello.
They are used
They are used.
filtering after a rectifier.
Yeah. It is to ensure that you get a pure DC voltage for an LED. It's only for filtration purpose actually.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Fine.
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Okay, fine. So we go to the next application, which is very simple. The third application is fan regulator. So if you see this circuit is well known. Can you tell me this circuit was seen by you in which unit?
AC voltage controller.
Yeah, this is a circuit of AC regulator or an AC chopper. Okay, so we have 230 volt mains, and here in the initial part of that topic, we had connected two SCRs back to back, T1 and T2. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, T1 was fired at alpha, T2 was fired at pi plus alpha. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so now instead of using back-to-back SCRs, we are using a single chip solution, a TRIAC VT136, and I have shown a isolation and firing angle control. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and R and C are connected as a snubber. Okay, so this particular snubber circuit will protect the TRIAC from dV by dt. Okay, are you able to listen to me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and this particular technique. Now, this particular fan is basically a motor. Okay, all the fans which are there in our homes are actually basically AC motors, right? So fan being an AC motor needs an AC voltage, and depending upon how much RMS it receives, the speed varies according to that. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the fan regulator means it is actually a circuit which will help us to vary the speed of the fan. So when the voltage input to the fan goes from 0 volts to 230 volts, the speed of the fan goes from 0 to max. Okay, so for example, if the fan rotates at rated speed of 1500 rpm, that means when it receives 230 volt RMS, that means it will rotate at 1500 rpm, and if it receives 115 volt RMS, it will rotate at 750 rpm. Okay, and as we discussed in AC regulator, that when you vary the firing angle of the TRIAC from 0 degrees to 180 degrees, the VLRMS will go from 230 volt to 0 volt. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's a
Yes,
very,
yes.
very simple circuit that the speed of the fan can be changed from 0 RPM to 1500 RPM by generating 0 volts RMS to 230 volt RMS, which in turn can be achieved by varying the firing angle from 180 degrees to 0 degrees. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. It's the simplest application of power electronics. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Okay,
all
sir.
the and see this formula is there. So we have derived this formula in AC voltage controller. VLRMS is equal to Vm by root 2 and the big bracket. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Now we go to a little more complex applications. That is, first is single phase DC motor drive. Please see this diagram very, very carefully. This particular diagram in front of. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the electrical equivalent of a separately excited DC motor. Okay, separately excited DC motor means that the motor winding is different and the field winding is different. That is called separately excited DC motor. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So to the left, you are seeing the motor winding, also known as armature winding. So in DC motors, you have armature winding. In AC motors, you have the rotor winding. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So this is the armature winding. So we can say that the left half of this circuit is called as armature circuit. LA represents the armature inductance. RA is the armature or the winding resistance. And this particular EB represents back EMF. Remember one thing, that back EMF is a voltage which is generated inside the motor as a function of its speed. Okay, back EMF is a voltage which is generated inside the motor as a function of the speed of the motor, capital N. Is it clear? So VA is armature voltage, IA is armature current, EB is back EMF, and LA and RA are the armature inductance and armature resistance respectively. And then we have the field circuit, that is a field winding. The field winding, VF is the field voltage, IF is the field current, and RF and RF and LF are the field resistance and inductance respectively. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and the field winding is kept close to the armature winding inside the enclosure of a motor. And what happens is that when the current flows to the field circuit, there is something called as a field flux. And when the field flux is cut, then we have what is called as a generator principle and motor principle. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now the main discussion in this topic is that which power electronic system can be used to generate the armature voltage VA, which power electronic system can be used to generate the field voltage VF, and how we can vary VA and VF in order to vary the speed of the motor. This is what we have to learn in the next 5 minutes. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, so we go to the mathematics of this system. Now you see here in the armature circuit, we can very well say that VA is equal to IARA plus EB. Simple KVL, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. So we know that VA is equal to IA into RA plus EB. That I have written here. Is it clear? See equation number 1. Are you able to see equation number 1?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, sir. Now we can see.
Yes,
Now
sir.
we can see. Okay. Yeah. Are you able to see equation number? Equation number 1 says that VA is equal to IARA plus EB. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We also told that the back EMF of the motor is a function of speed. You see here, Ka into phi f into N. So phi f is called as a field flux. Okay. Which is generated in the field winding to the right side. Okay. Ka is some constant and N is the speed of the motor. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then we have the torque, which is a function of field flux and armature current. Is it clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So here we have the back EMF as a function of speed, and we have the torque of the motor, which is a function of one quantity from field side phi f and another quantity from armature side. You see here, T is equal to is a function of field flux and armature current. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So from equation number 1, 2, and 3, we can derive this equation number 5, which says that the speed of the motor N, it is equal to VA upon Ka into phi f minus RA upon Ka phi f square into T. Is it clear, this equation? This equation, it clearly says, see, this equation clearly says that the speed N is directly proportional to the armature voltage VA and inversely proportional to phi f. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So speed is proportional to armature voltage and inversely proportional to the field flux. Now again we see that the field flux is a function of field current, and field current is equal to VF upon RF. You see here, I go to the circuit here. Is it clear here? See the field circuit here. So the field flux phi f is a function of IF and IF is a function of VF. Why? Because RF is constant. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So from equation number 5, I can say that I have to vary both armature voltage and field voltage. Okay, you see here. So N is proportional to VA. It is inverse proportional of phi f, but phi f is a function of VF, right? So ultimately, in this particular system, I have to find out which power electronic system can help me give a variable armature voltage and variable field voltage. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now our circuit comes here. See very, very carefully. Okay. Our armature circuit and field circuit I have highlighted with yellow highlighter. Are you seeing that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And instead of directly writing VA, VA is now the output of a fully controlled converter. You see?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there you are seeing 4 SCRs and the firing angle is alpha A and pi plus alpha A. Okay, so alpha A means it is a firing angle of armature circuit. Okay, fine.
So can you repeat it?
Yes, sir.
See, I am telling you that this particular circuit diagram is same as the first diagram. Only difference is that I have replaced VA with a full converter and I have replaced VF with a semi converter. Is it okay? This I am talking about this thing.
Yes.
Are you seeing this? And then
Yeah.
yeah, so here I have shown VA and VF as two DC voltages, but what I have done is that I have now derived the voltage VA from the output of full converter and VF is from semi converter. Are you seeing this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so alpha A is firing angle of full converter and alpha F is a firing angle of semi converter. Is it okay? Why alpha F? Firing angle of field circuit and alpha is firing angle of armature circuit. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes. Now, fully controlled converter will now it is equal to 2Vm by pi cos alpha. You remember that equation?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I can say that in this particular DC drive circuit, the armature voltage is nothing but the VL AVG of full converter, which is equal to 2Vm upon pi cos of alpha A. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And VF, that is the field voltage, nothing but it is the VL AVG of semi converter. What is the VL AVG of semi converter? It is Vm upon pi 1 plus cos alpha. That is why here Vf is now equal to Vm upon pi 1 plus cos alpha f. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. So what will happen is that if I vary alpha A, Va will vary, and when Va will vary, according to this equation, my speed will vary. Similarly, if I change alpha f here, Vf will vary. When Vf will vary, If will vary. When If will vary, phi f will vary. And that is what will happen. The speed will again change. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now
Yes,
again
sir.
coming back, there are two ways of controlling. Either you keep phi f constant and vary Va, or else you keep Va constant and vary phi f. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is why the speed of DC motor can be varied either by increasing Va or by reducing phi f. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is called the speed control of DC motor. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now yeah. See, actually now it will again switch off because we had a break of 10 minutes because of that. वापस हम connect करेंगे. Yeah. See, just a minute. We have a lot of days to cover. If you feel that the session has gone too long and you have other things to do, we can continue this thing tomorrow. Can we do that?
Okay, sir.
Is it fine, Jinisha?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because
Tomorrow is fine.
yeah, so last के दोनों सेशन में हम ओवर टाइम गए थे. आज लेकिन 2-3 बार डिस्कनेक्शन ज्यादा टाइम के लिए हो गया. तो we will end the session today and we will continue tomorrow. Is it okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we will cover stepper motor, BLDC
Okay, sir.
and induction motor tomorrow. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, fine. So I'll
Okay, sir.
disconnect. Yeah.